welcome to Do It Now podcast. I'm so excited. All the way from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the one and only Pastor Paul Daugherty, right?
Yes, sir.
Dude, listen, this music is all for you. Can we clap our hands for this? All for you. Paul, I use this actually on the side of my bed, like when I feel... That's pretty good, right?
I love it. That is, I need one of those.
Every
right
Monday morning, yeah.
I need it.
They say all pastors quit on Mondays.
Yeah, I need that clapping on Mondays. You're doing awesome.
How you doing, man?
I am doing good. I just got done preaching for you.
You did. You shut the house down, man. You had me in tears. That means something.
Oh, man.
You did,
it
dude. That
honor.
was so ridiculous. You preached on, what would you call that? The key, master key.
The master key to victory.
And you set it up so dope. I didn't know where you were going with it, and it was just so dope about your dad and wanting the key to the church and all of it, all that whole time you had the master key. Didn't
know I had it for 3 years.
3 years. That's
sitting
a long
on
time.
The master key.
Sitting on. I want an organ. I don't have an organ on here. I need an organ. Yeah. Y'all need to get me an organ on this thing. This would be so dope. All right, Paul.
Yes.
Welcome to Do It Now. Welcome to the Now Church. This is our first time meeting. My brother from another. Let me give you some birds for that.
Come on.
And I got a chance to hear you speak for the first time. I DM'd you.
Yeah.
I saw your IG. Y'all don't underestimate those IG pages. I saw his IG page. I was praying Samuel Rodriguez was supposed to preach.
Yeah.
You know Sam?
Yep. He texted me today.
He did?
I need to respond back to him. I've been so busy I haven't gotten a chance
You big
to respond.
time, buddy. Sam,
No.
you got to wait.
No. He's big time.
He's big time.
Respond.
Yeah, the date didn't work and whatnot. So I started praying. This is true stuff. And I should have said this in church. I didn't say it. I started praying about, God, who do you want us to have come and speak for this conference and whatnot? And God laid you on my heart. I came across his page. And I started listening to some of the messages and some of the highlights. And I didn't know you. I didn't know about the church or anything. We come to find out we know a lot of the same people. But anyways, I just DM'd him and said, hey, Paul, would you come to the conference? And you said,
yes, sir.
Yes,
you
sir.
have my yes.
And then his church said, nope.
Yes.
Then your church said, nope, he's not coming. He has another event. I was like, Paul, they said you can't come.
That other event is actually still happening at our church tonight.
Wow.
But what my assistant didn't know is that I'm not required to be at that event. It's another ministry. They're renting the, come on. So I told her, I was like, no, I'm going. I want to go and see this church, and I want to go be a part of his conference and be a part of it. And so I'm so glad I said yes, because it was really special tonight.
Yeah,
and you could really feel the presence of God, and what you're doing here is really special.
Thank you, my brother.
I'm honored to be a part of it.
Thank you. I'm glad you came and you brought one of your pastors, Stefan.
Yes.
Let me give you an applause back there, Stefan. Y'all can't see him. Good-looking brother back there. He pastors the North Campus.
Yes, sir.
For those of you that don't know, Paul pastors a church that's 16,000 members that he inherited from his father, which was going through a ridiculous split. And I mean, I just could not imagine the amount of drama. When you talk about it, you're very calm about it. But I know that junk was crazy.
Oh, it was crazy. Well, it's been 13 years, so I'm calm now. But in the moment, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I was screaming. I mean, I was in tears. We were losing people left and right. We were bleeding as a church when my dad passed.
He was like 50, what?
He was 57. Nobody saw it coming. There was no transition plan ready until the last week before he passed. I think he sensed something was coming. And so he sat down with a couple of our board members and shared his heart. He didn't tell me, but he said, I see Paul someday becoming the pastor. In the meantime.
Because at the time, you're 20.
I was 24.
24.
Just got married. His last public thing he did was my wedding.
Wow.
And he was in chemo treatment, so it was very interesting. But
did you know he was sick?
Yeah, he got sick 3 weeks before our wedding, did my wedding, 3 weeks later went to heaven.
So, Paul, I need to tell you something, right? So the first time you shared that story, I said, I know why we're kindred, right? So my father at 63 died similarly, the exact same way of cancer. And in a worse situation, I was actually at Lee University at college. I was 19 years old.
Wow.
And I had saw him during Christmas of that year, and I saw he had lost a lot of weight, and I said something to him about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm just trying to lose some weight," and just didn't want to tell me what was going on.
Same.
Probably thought he was going to beat it and all that stuff. And I get a call. My other brother, who's the associate pastor here, he wasn't here tonight. I get a call from him while I'm in college, getting ready to take my finals, and he says, "You have to get on the plane tomorrow if you want to see your dad alive." He said, and I didn't know it, and I kind of said, "Man, I got tests, I got this." And he said, "Javen, if you don't get on the plane right now and grab your sister," I had a sister that was there. He said, "If you don't get on the plane, you're not going to see that. You have to get home right now." And I flew home. I got a chance to see him in the hospital. He was down about 80 pounds. Then the next day he had died. So trust me, I know the intensity of that.
Yeah, I had a similar thing. So my dad was secretly battling lymphoma cancer for a year and didn't tell anyone, didn't tell our family. The only person who knew was my mom, but very little. And he told her, "Don't tell the kids, don't tell the church." So he preached that whole time. We'd get up on Sunday, and I would notice he was more tired, had a little bit of a swollenness around his neck. And it wasn't until it got so bad that he finally checked into a hospital, and we were like, "Why is Dad in the hospital?" And my mom was like, "Everybody just meet me up here at this room." We come up there, and she says, "Your dad has cancer." And I was like, "Since when? Like today, all of a sudden it's here?" And she was like, "Well, actually, it's been here for over a year. We just didn't tell you." And we were like, "What?" Our family felt blindsided by it. And he was like a real word of faith. So he's like, "I don't want anyone worried about me. Right. I want to appear strong. Yeah. I want to appear, let the poor say I'm rich. Let the weak say I'm strong, you know." But I was like, "Dad, we could have been a part of helping you for the last year."
What is your takeaway from that? Like, what is your lesson in that? What is when you look back on that in retrospect, what's your knee jerk?
I think transparency with people that love you way sooner than later is so important. I think you don't have to maybe tell the whole world. You don't have to go on Facebook and Instagram and be like, "Hey, I'm sick," but at least tell your family. At least tell your core staff that love you, that want to help you, that can carry the load.
Yeah.
So I've there was things he said to me in the hospital before he passed that has shaped me as a pastor. Like one of the things he said was, "When I get out of here, we're going to take 8-day vacations," because we always took 6-day vacations. We'd always come back so he could preach on Sunday. And I was like, "Dad, are you sure?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Also, I'm going to start taking a sabbatical every year, 4 weeks off from preaching and 4 weeks just with your mom and you guys." And, by this time, I'm like, we're all grown up. We're not kids anymore. So I'm like, we're all adults. And I was like, "All right, well, that sounds great. We'll all hang out together." And then he told me, he was like, "I shouldn't have pushed myself so hard. I should have taken more breaks. I should have spent more time resting with your mom and gone fishing." So that kind of shaped me, where it was like, okay, every year I'm going to make sure my wife and I pull away for at least, periodic moments to just, with the kids and everything, to be gone, to not have to preach every Sunday, to trust the team members to carry the load.
Yeah.
So that has shaped me in a big way and shaped our church since then.
Yeah. I think it's so important. They say when you get to the end of your road, it's not how big the church is. It's not all the money. It's the people you love and the investments you made with your kids and all that kind of stuff. And I think that generation, my father was a bishop as well, Church of God and organization, and a district overseer, and oversaw a lot of church. They were more gone than they were home. Ministry. And I do think that when you get to the end, it's really about how much time with the people that you love. And I think that this generation, especially those that are in leadership now, I don't know who's watching this podcast, and, hey, listen, you might, and here's the crazy thing, because, and I want to say this real quick, I never thought in 1,000 years I'd be in this seat, pastoring Now Church and all that kind of stuff. When you hear a little bit more of Paul's story, he will tell you the exact same thing. And you might be sitting there watching going, "I ain't never going to be in these guys' situations, so I don't have to listen to this." Listen.
Yeah.
Buddy, you never know what God's going to do. And you'll need to understand more and more how important it is for you to take that time out and that balance when you're doing ministry. You take over, your mom takes over the church, his mom takes over the church, and what happens?
So she took over from 2009, the winter, all the way till the summer of 2014 for 5 years. During that time, there was very few women in the role of a senior pastor, and it was very controversial. Now that's happening a little bit more, but it's still controversial today, just a little less. Back then, it seemed like, oh, this is very, especially of a church that size.
And that wasn't like back in the 80s or nothing. This is
2009, Oklahoma. So we lost, several thousand people, and it just tripled, and then when you're losing people, you're losing finances, so we had to lay off like 150 employees, and it was tough, man. We went through multiple layoffs. It seemed like every year we were laying off another 40 to 50 employees, and then during that same time, just some negative things that happened that just caused the culture of our church and school and camp just to be in a place where it's like, okay, we need a turnaround. We need a resurrection. Not that we're dead, but we need life breathed into this house, because the house feels very defeated.
Wow.
Even though our name was Victory.
And so at some point, you finally step in as the pastor. I know we're kind of skipping over some things, but you finally take over as the pastor. You're at what age at this time?
At that time, I was 28, about to turn 29, had one kid. My wife and I had been married about 5 years. So we step in, and, I went, during those 5 years, I was leading our college ministry, leading as the associate pastor, serving my mom with weddings, funerals, preaching Saturday nights, Wednesday night, leading the prayer ministry, leading pastoral care, benevolence, all those, kind of just involved everywhere, wherever the needs were. So when I stepped in...
Which is key, by the way, for all, you just, again, that stuff is all preparation for pastoralship, because if you don't know what a nursery smells like, if you don't know what a bathroom, looks like to be clean, and the youth to be rebellious and all that, you really still don't know how to pastor a church. And
it builds trust with the people that are about to follow you. So those 5 years, my mom was smart, and I thank God that in that season I was smart to go, okay, as much as I can be everywhere with as many different demographics of people in the church and the school, it builds trust. It builds a sense of, this guy is in the trenches with us. He's not just some...
trying to showboat.
Yeah.
Very good. So
it created a healthy, smooth transition. The bleeding stopped for about a year. We didn't really grow, but we finally stopped shrinking. We stopped losing. Because
your dad had it at about how many people?
So right before he passed, at his prime, on a weekend, there would be like 9,000 to 10,000 physical attendance. And that would be across all services. That's including kids, youth, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, And
by the time you take it, it's dropped down to...
It's about 4,300. And so it was half physical attendance what it was before.
Can you imagine losing 4,000 people and still trying to stay encouraged and still believe that there's a future and a hope for this place? Because some people say, well, it's got 4,000 people. Yeah, but if you saw 5,000 people walk out, that would make you feel like, okay, God's hand is not on this place anymore.
Well, and we were still running the same amount of services in a room that seats 5,000 people. So it's like a drop. Part of me wishes we would have just combined them all into one service. It feels packed out. It's awesome. But instead, we had, one service with 400 people in a room that seats 5,000.
Oh, my God.
One service with 800 people. One service with 1,000 people. But it's still, it's tough.
Okay, I got to ask you. We got to go back. What year is this?
All of that was in 2009 through 2014.
All right. So during this time, you're walking out every day. You're getting dressed. You're getting your 1 or 2 kids at that time. You got about 5 kids now.
Yeah, now we got 5.
But about two or three, give or take. At that time, you got to get up every day, and you got to get dressed, and you got to come out here and smile and be Victory pastor, you're doing what before you come out? You're full of faith, or you're...
No, I was battling depression. I was battling discouragement. I've shared this with our church. I just finished writing a book. It comes out this year called Mind Games. And
love it. I love it already.
In that book, I tell the story. There was one night where I was so discouraged by where we were at as a church. My wife and I got into a stupid argument over, I think it was over like milk. I don't even know. Like she liked more expensive brand than I did. And I was like, I'm just trying to save money. Our church is shrinking. We're laying off people. And, it's like we're arguing over milk. It was stupid. But I was so discouraged. I left the house and I went walking, and I walked for miles, and I came across this highway overpass bridge. Wow. And semi-trucks driving underneath it, and the enemy starts whispering, like, you should just jump. Like, just end it. Wow. No one cares anymore. You're better off. Your best days are behind you. And I was in that dark pit of despair, discouragement, and I was like, I try to smile on Sundays, try to smile, at church, while I was bleeding, missing my dad, missing people that had left the church, missing the days where we didn't have as much pain. Just missing days where you didn't have to worry about who you're going to have to lay off the next day. So it was just so much discouragement and fear and feelings of insecurity and inadequacy. And anyways, I was looking at these trucks, and I was like, okay, And then finally I just was like, I felt like little raindrops started hitting my head. It was like my dad was up in heaven dropping raindrops saying like, don't give up, don't give up. Yeah. The Bible says, train a child up in the way he should go, and he will not depart from it. Yeah. And it was like in that moment I was reminded, okay, I'm going to live and not die. Yeah. And so I just pointed at the darkness, and I was like, Satan, come on. You lose. Come on. I choose to live. Come on. Even if I got to live through the misery of right now, I'm not quitting. Yeah. And I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to come out of this pit, and I'm going to have a testimony, and I'm going to have a victory. And sure enough, I did. And so that's what the book is about, and that's kind of my testimonies coming through that season. And then our church began to grow. After that first year of pastor, our church gradually started growing, healthy growth, not like bamboo growth, just like very steady, stable each year. Telling you, a couple hundred people, and now the church is a force in the city. It is like an unstoppable force. Wow! And I'm thankful.
Let me tell you something you said tonight. You said, this blessed me all day. You said, change the narrative.
Yes, sir.
You said, change the narrative. Something else you said, talk yourself into victory.
Yes. Talk yourself into it.
Talk yourself into victory. You said one more thing that really blessed me tonight. You said, speak the opposite of how you feel. Mm-hmm. Is all that stuff going to be in your book? I hope.
Yeah, it actually is. Because
all that was killer.
Yeah, I tell the story of, my confession had gotten so negative, and it was like, hold on, I need to flip the narrative. I got to change the script. Like, this is so discouraging. Nobody wants to read this story. I don't want to read this story. And God was like, change the narrative. Start speaking life. Yeah. Start speaking hope. Start talking yourself. We talk ourselves out of things all the time. Stupid. So we got to talk ourselves into the things.
This is the Now Church. Do it now. Now Center. We're all about the Now Revelation. One of the things we teach in the Now Revelation is about enjoying both your good and bad experiences. Right. Yes. Enjoying all of it and not feeling bad or complaining and whatnot, only to finally get there and then turn around and go, well, I complained, or I was depressed the whole time and whatnot. Yeah. When you look back over those years, for somebody that's kind of in it right now, because now you're on the backside of that and the church is prosperous, your career is booming and the books and all that kind of stuff. What do you say, or how can you say to somebody about enjoying it? Because that part I felt was, how do you get through it? But let's talk about how we can enjoy the good out of the bad scenario. How can I enjoy these years until it does turn around?
That is a good question. I mean, I think, for me, this is why I like preaching about the pain, because it makes me thankful to not be there in this season anymore. And it causes me to go, man, I'm so thankful I am not walking through the hell that I was walking through in that season. So I think pausing and going, I have had way worse seasons than I'm having right now. This is a season to celebrate. Yeah. This is a season to pinch myself and go, my goodness.
Meaning like when it gets frustrating right now. Like if something starts bothering you.
Oh, yeah.
You go, hey, listen, at least it wasn't.
At least it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're, you know, I mean, I think about right now the headache that we're walking through as a church is so little compared to the headaches we were walking through 10 years ago. Yeah. And I'm like, I am so glad for this headache because we're in a healthy headache and we're in a healthy time where it's like, we're in a place now where we're looking to hire new people.
Nice.
Where it's like 10 years ago, we couldn't hire anybody. We had to look to who we were going to fire because we couldn't afford to keep 3 more employees, you know?
Wow.
So I think perspective. I also think taking the Sabbath every week, taking a day of rest and being reflective on that day. And for me, I like to spend time with my kids, and my wife and I do a date night. And, you know, we try to use those moments to look at each other and go like, this is it. This is it. We're here. We're having a good time. Wow. We love each other. Let's go eat ice cream.
Be in the moment.
Yeah, be in the moment right now.
Yeah.
Best days aren't 100 years from now. They're right here.
Right now.
Yeah.
That is so good. You are a singer as well and a songwriter.
Yes, sir.
You're looking at me like you're not.
No, I am. I haven't written a song. I was telling Stefan, I hit a writer's block writing songs in the last year. But during
you
COVID,
just wrote a song.
Yes.
And it's called
You Have My Yes.
So you need to sing a little bit of the song. You didn't do it in church, but I felt like you should have.
All right.
You know, I felt like at that point I want to be I'm everybody's manager, by the way. I just have a producer's mind, and I'm always telling everybody what to do. And
nice.
I'm always channeling, and I'm like, sing the song.
You want me to show you part of it? Because I recorded it.
I want you to sing it.
You want me to sing it a cappella?
Yeah, like sing the chorus. Oh, the part you feel, that'll make it more real. I know y'all want to hear it, don't you?
Here's the chorus. You have my yes. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. You have my yes. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. You have my yes. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You have my yes. So that's kind of the chorus.
You have my yes.
You want to hear the bridge?
No, I'm taking your song. You have my yes.
You sing it way better than I do.
No, you said we can do a duet. That's good, man.
Thank you.
I love that's the hook, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
I love it. You can play the bridge if you find it.
Yeah, you want me to play?
I ain't mad at that.
All right, I'll play a little part.
I am not mad at that. This is a first. This is a do it now first.
So that's the chorus. This is the bridge.
Is that you? Good tone. Come on, brother. You're getting up there.
So that's it. But yeah,
I felt like you wanted to show off that when you was going up.
Yeah, I wanted to show that I can hit that octave. That
you're going through right now. He's having a little bit of a sore throat right now.
I'm trying to remind myself I still have a voice.
And by the way, it is late, y'all. We are like doing this at 11 o'clock. This is past both of our bedtimes. Trust me, when you be doing all this work, you want to go to bed long by this time. But we are committed to the call. We got about 6 more minutes left. Well, about 5 more minutes left. Let's try to encourage. Let's do a speed round. Do you know Dave Martin by chance? Dr. Dave Martin.
Yes, sir.
So I did something real crazy. I never did this before. We did a speed round. Okay, a speed round. You know what a speed round is?
Yeah.
So a speed round. We're gonna see how in a matter of 2 minutes, I guess a minute. I don't even know because at least you got coffee. I don't know what energy I'm gonna have. But we gotta go back and forth within a 2 minute window and see how much we can encourage people. So you're going to look into that camera That's yours. This one is mine. I'll kick off. I'll point to you. When you're done, you kick back off to me, and we'll see if we got anything. Either we got it or we don't. Like either we are called to do this or we're getting ready to look very stupid right about now. But let me see what I got. All right. Listen, I don't care what you're going through. Here's what I can tell you, that if you will keep your eyes focused on Jesus, and if you stay up, you'll go up. And I promise you, gratitude will give you the altitude that you need in life.
Come on.
Go, you gotta go. It's a speed round.
Hey, listen, I love you. God loves you. He's for you. He's not against you. He's with you. He's in you. You've got what it takes. You can do this. You go.
All right. If you're ever down, I want you to know you can get back up. I want you to know we may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Keep singing, keep dancing, and you'll make it through anything.
Come on, keep singing, keep dancing, keep praising. I don't even know what's going on right now, but no, I'll just say this. Can I cut from this moment and say something?
You can do whatever you want to do.
I will say this. When I was very discouraged, one of the things I would do is I would put on a praise song. And I would literally start jumping, singing, and praising the Lord. And I would praise my way into a better attitude. Praise my way out of depression. So.
Okay, you win that round.
No. I just didn't know how to go back and forth.
Yeah, but you took it way deep when I was very shallow. So you went deep.
No.
And you're showing me up as a shallow preacher, pastor, but that's all right. I'll tell you, I did like what you did when you brought the guys up.
Yeah.
So he brought up 4 guys, and it was, you're making the point of, what did you call that word?
Myopia.
Now, is that a psychological word?
Yes.
Or okay.
So it's nearsightedness.
We call it tunnel vision.
Yeah. It's the inability to see beyond what's right in front of you.
Myopia.
So spiritual myopia is being blinded by fear, doubt, discouragement, comparison, shame, debt, guilt.
So good.
Financial lack, whatever that is, it's right in front of you, and then the antidote is to worship and pray and allow God to raise your vision, elevate your vision that God has more. Yeah.
So he has the guys around him, and then he starts talking about worship and praise, and you're able to get up
higher
above that.
Yeah.
Do you worship in the morning?
I put on music. If my voice has it, I go for it. But if not, I just put the music on and I'll pray in the spirit, and I'll just kind of let it.
Do you speak in tongues and do all that spiritual stuff?
Where's
the organ? Y'all better stop playing with me. I need an organ on here. Now we can have some church at this podcast.
I'm a tongue talker.
Don't play, Paul. Don't play with the saints. All right, we got a couple more minutes left. What's another good habit you got?
Let's see. I'm a tree planter. Now, this might sound crazy, but I've planted 4,000 trees. So it's it's a hobby of mine. I like taking my shoes off, walking in the ground.
Wow.
They call it grounding. Yeah. And
they call it grounding because
you're
one with the earth or something?
Yeah. But it's like, for me, it is a spiritual practice with God where I'm like, Lord, I want to be creative and restorative today and put some trees in the ground for some more health.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to listen to you, but my producer's back there just giving me the 2 minutes. Y'all don't be cutting the pastor off.
Let's go cut
These are 2 pastors here. You can't just cut pastors off when they talking. In Jesus' name, the brother was just speaking in tongues. Y'all gonna cut the Holy Ghost off? No.
You got 10 seconds.
I know. Wrap it up. Tim was taking a lot of your time. He's up there doing that singing. I'm like, we got a speaker. No, listen. You know what I did when I left the church in Tampa with Paul and them, and I left cold turkey. I didn't know what I was going next. Every city I got booked in, I don't talk about this a lot in public. I took my shoes off.
I love it.
And I walked the grounds, like out of the hotel, or if I was at somebody's house, I would take my shoes off, and because I didn't know where my next city was. I didn't know where we were going to move.
You were feeling where God was calling you.
Where God was calling me. I prayed every city I went to. My son was small at that time, and so I had to make a right decision for me and my kid. And I was leaving, a full, now I'm going into full-time career mode, and I'm getting ready to literally trust God, like I don't know what the future holds. Like seriously. And I ended up, the last place I did that at was Los Angeles, California, and God said, "This is your new home."
Wow.
And I literally, whatever I couldn't put in a U-Haul, I gave away, and then I packed what I could, left my son home, and drove all the way from Florida to Los Angeles, California. Stayed in the hotel for 2 weeks in Studio City, off of off of Cahuenga Boulevard.
Wow.
And that was before Wi-Fi and all that stuff. So you plug, AOL and all that, and found a home, and the rest is history.
Come on.
People really sometimes don't know people be hating on your glory, but they don't really know
your story.
Your story of faith.
Come on.
You got a couple of more minutes left. Let's talk about faith a little bit.
Yeah.
Because your message tonight was on faith.
Yeah. I mean, without faith, we can't please God. So, I think faith is that substance of hoping for, believing for, seeing on the inside what God has in store, and then pursuing that even when you're walking through miserable moments, painful moments, dull, mundane moments. We look at the hall of faith in Hebrews 11. All of these guys had to walk through
serious stuff.
Serious, painful things, and seasons where they had to wait. David had to wait 16 years between when he knew he was called and when he stepped into it. So
you said, keep going.
I would just say for anyone out there you're in a waiting season, you're patiently waiting for what God has next. Just keep moving by faith. Just keep speaking by faith. Keep renewing your mind, and your time is coming. Breakthrough's coming.
You said seeing beyond is a weapon against hopelessness.
Yes.
You're preaching without the preaching. Yeah, I mean, because you were just smooth talking, but I'm just like, you were dropping like dynamite bombs tonight.
Man, thank you.
I was so impressed.
Thank you, Javen.
I really was, man.
That means a lot.
What a real blessing, a real treat. A book is coming out later this year. It's called
Mind Games.
Mind Games, and then the single is about to drop, and that's called
You Have My Yes. It's out.
It's out. You Have My Yes, and then y'all have a lot of other music out.
Yes, sir. Victory Worship.
Victory Worship, and the church is called Victory.
Victory, and the website's just victory.com.
Victory.com, based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They have over 16,000 members. This is a guy to watch, man. This is Paul Daugherty. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with our little Now church, our little Now conference, man.
Honored.
We love you. You did very good, Paul. I wasn't sure because I know it was late, but you got your coffee and you represented Victory very well.
Good.
See y'all. Bye.
Later.